And as the National Weather Service will say in writing, amateur radio saves lives. If you talk to FEMA, we are one of the key planning components for FEMA. In fact, in many of their planning modules for the states and the cities, they insist that amateur radio be considered as a backup. There's a reason the motto, when all else fails, came into existence. You can see recent examples of amateur radio's participation in Helene and Milton. The first communications into the destroyed areas were by amateur radio. Once the government was able to step in, we went home. If you go back to July 4th, the Kerrville flooding, that's hilly country. The river basin is deep. When they sent the search teams in, they had the best equipment in the world. But those radio systems were not interoperable. They couldn't talk to each other. Fire, police, doesn't matter. So they called our people out, and then we had amateur radio operators with a lot of the search teams because our people can talk without trunking system. And in some of the areas, if you couldn't, even with amateur radio, get out of that river basin, would put people up on the hilltops and act as repeaters. So we are still important to the nation, but you can't train to participate in emergency communications unless you have a radio and unless you can talk. And if there are no antennas, you can't talk. But we have other reasons to exist, one of which is developed what they call the advancement of radio art. If you look at most of the communications companies in the country, many of their leaders are amateur radio operators. That's how they got started.